most people don't know that stress can be created and illness, absolutely illness can be created by a breath pattern that is not coded for calm. And again, when we failed a test, when we got broken up by someone, when we failed a grade, when someone said no, when we something really not so great happened when we were younger, when we were teenagers, if we're not noticing in the present moment, if we're not really noticing what's going on, our breath pattern can change. And over time, that can actually just create a low level based constant stress, no matter what's going on in the outside. So the first thing I would say is how you breathe is going to change how you think. How you think is going to be changing what you decide to do in the outside world and how you want to manage stress, because we can self soothe with things that don't work so well long term, or we could use something like this that creates a little bit more cellular calm, even though it's stressful. So here's a low grade stress here. A very cold shower, a lake dip, or an ice bath will stress us here. And then when we're done, the body will start to understand where we really want to be. So then stress will actually be down here. Even though this feels calm, this is where the body wants to be. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So we think that this is calm.
And for those of you who are just listening, she's using her hand to put like a level down low and then a level up high and then to regulate. This is why you should always watch on Spotify and YouTube.
Yeah. So cold water is designed to be a stressor so that the body can now find a new normal instead of thinking that low grade stress is normal.
Well, when you think about it, weightlifting, exercise, that's a healthy stress too. It's breaking down the muscle to rebuild it. Microderm on your face, it's breaking down the skin to rebuild it. I mean, there's a lot of great things that are technically stress, but I don't like to even say things are good or bad stress. I used to always say that, but
Right.
we can kind of put it more into that good area because it's a stressor that you have that actually helps relieve stress in the long run.
Right. And so you have systems in your body that are designed to actually receive that. And so I'm going to say that in a different way. You're actually designed to be doing these kinds of things. We The relaxation level that a lot of us have, and then the non-excitatory important strengthening components that we don't use are actually making us weaker, even though comfort is really fun. If we spend too much time being too comfortable for too long, then the body will start to get rid of these systems that we need to actually be strong, and then we won't be strong. So think about someone who's lying in bed, or they're not well and they're lying in bed. Their muscle mass will just start to dissolve. That's not the medical term.
Yeah.
It'll start to change very quickly, not in a direction that you want. So we need to be using these things so that we can have a minimum level of health. And so there's two things. I'm going to give people a really easy thing to remember to try and help them understand that they can reduce stress instantly with two components. This is so easy. When we understand that we're stressed, we often have like shoulders that are up closer to our
Yep.
ears. It's upper quadrant breathing, it's chest breathing. It's not how, if you look at a baby doesn't breathe like that. How a baby breathes is with their entire body. We laugh with our entire body. We emote with our entire body. So when we start to change those things, everything starts to get really like bunched up and small and compacted. And that's not really how the body likes to express itself. So a really beautiful, healthy breath would start with using the diaphragm muscles. Those are the muscles that are below your chest, below your rib cage. They're very, very important. Later in life, this is also going to help with any women that will be experiencing incontinence. We want to use that diaphragm because it helps the pelvic girdle, it helps everything. And so that's going to code the blood and the brain that like everything's good. When we're breathing in a way that codes for health, we have the base foundation, the cornerstone for health. When we skip into the present moment instead of thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow or 2 hours or 10 hours from now, we're not thinking about what happened last year, or 2 years before, what happened when we were in grade school. When we're in the present moment and when we have a breath pattern that codes for calm, we actually cannot be stressed. It's that simple. When we're in the present moment and when we're breathing correctly and we're not in an emergency, like there's no fire explosions or anything, we actually can't be stressed. And that's kind of cool to know.
That is. And that's what you're doing when you are in that cold water. It's very hard to be in the future other than, oh, when is this going to be over in the very beginning or in the past? And you mentioned Wim Hof and breathing. Those are also techniques which keep you very, very present and help you work on that breathing, which is could do a whole nother podcast about that. It's super, super important. Let's take a healthy 50 to 60-year-old woman who wants to start cold exposure. Nothing that would prevent her from doing it. She maybe works out a little bit, but not enough, maybe has an okay diet, but she's looking to do this. How does she start?
Yeah, I think what we really want to do first is start to get the breath patterns solid because that's going to actually have a massive impact on everything else. So, great. If we're all right, so it's me. I'm looking at a cold shower right now. I understand that my diaphragm needs to be involved to even begin to reduce my stress. So maybe I turn on the cold shower. I'm in a shower. I'm turning it on to cold. I'm outside. I'm looking at the water. The cold practice has already started because my eyes already see the water. And now my brain's
Yeah.
starting to process and change because you know what that's all about, right? Like
Yeah.
everything's starting to happen now. So I start breathing in through the nose using my diaphragm and a long exhale out the mouth, which tells your system that you're not in danger, even though the body perceives cold water as a little bit dangerous because that's how we're wired. Like ice water, it's dangerous. Hot water, it's like danger. Our body's just trying to code for danger. That's how we default. And so when we breathe this way, the body's like, how come you're breathing like this? Because we're about to go into an emergency and we're supposed to run away from a lion. Why are we meditating? What are we
Yeah.
doing? And so this will shorten the stress time so that you can override that system consciously in a way that creates a healthy, safe, self-directed outcomes. Okay, great. So I'm looking at the water. This is about to happen. I'm already nervous. Probably are too. This happens. We can't really change that. It's part of our hardwired system. But when I'm breathing, I notice that I'm starting to calm down. And I'm also saying, like, I want to do this. No one's making me do this. I want to do this because I'm going to feel so good after. So then I get in and I notice that the cold is now hitting the skin sensors on my body and the alarms are going off. And now I'm starting to get like that, like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? This is stupid. I don't want to be here. Like every single time, Kirsten, every single time I get the same languaging in my body and I go in and I
Me
breathe in.
too. And I've
Right.
been doing it for
Right.
years.
So I go in anyway, and that breathing will help the body understand that we've decided to do this. And it's like, I see your breathing is telling me that we're supposed to be here. That means that it's my job, body, to manage what we're doing, to manage what we're doing. And so this feeling when you're there for not too long, like under 2 minutes, you'll start to shift into calm. And you're like, well, where'd that come from? I didn't make that happen. No, your body did it. Your body decided to reorganize the internal systems and all the hormonal systems to support you in this moment. That's kind of cool to know. And because we're doing it in a short amount of time, then we can exit and the body's like, "Oh, okay. You meant to do that. Awesome." And now here's the most important part. We have to come back to a new normal and to rebalance, which is the learning part, the reheating part, your own innate reheating part is the most important part. So the cold is designed to take you off balance, kind of like some kind of unexpected emergency or horrible moment in your life. And then when we breathe correctly, we stay in the present moment. It's bad, but it's not like crazy bad. And then we get out, the body's like, oh, okay. So now we're just going to close this moment with love so that we can get on to the next thing. And so, what I didn't say from the beginning is I've been certified with the Wim Hof method and I've been practicing this for many, many years. And we have exams every year in quarterly meetings, and there's a ton of science. And why I'm qualified to do this is because I practice so much because you can't really learn how to do this from a book.
Yeah. No, you have to do.
You have to do it. But also, I have a crazy penchant for learning insane amounts of science because I just love to learn how the body can be so resilient and so adaptive. So that really gets me excited. I'm so amazed at how strong we actually are when we give ourselves intelligent challenges because there's no way that we can avoid bad moments in life. And it's not your fault when bad things happen. Just be aware and give yourself some compassion and know that we're all human. Life is really unpredictable and sometimes it's really not fun, but you can assign a new meaning to it if you want to. And if you want to, the 2 components like we talked about is your breath practice, staying in the present moment so that you don't wind up and make it worse and turn it into this, like, really big thing, which is gonna take even more energy to bring you back to your new normal.
So well said.